spike tutorial, you want to make these shits. And to start with, you're going to have to take any sort of can. I'm not addicted to Baja Blast, and you need to shut the fuck up. You then take a pill bottle, or anything that's just a circular shape. I just have a bunch of pill bottles. You then trace a pill bottle with a Sharpie. Other marker, I don't care. You do your brands. Then what you're gonna do, you're going to cut that out, and then you're going to cut it into a semicircle, and then you take that semicircle, and you can do this either direction. For example, these are some spikes I used from a Monster Energy can, and I was like, wait, I'm gonna put some fucking patterns on this. But what I do, just gonna kind of show this for the camera. Oh my god, I totally fucking forgot that. Before that, take a pair of scissors, don't cut yourself, also sharp. And this sort of just like helps get that initial curve in there. And you kind of have to even it out a little bit, but you're going to wind up with this. Put the scissors back where they belong so you don't forget them. And then you are going to sort of bend it, and you want to get to where it's a little bit of a point. Like this. But you don't want to squish it too much, because then it sort of gets a, how to describe this? Like wizard hat top. And then you're going to fold one side over the other. So like, what I do is I have my index finger and my thumb under the one side, and then I do this. I use my other thumb to move it over while sort of like pushing both sides towards each other. And you're gonna end up with this. Now, you want to either wear a respirator or you want to have the space properly ventilated. I like to have my window open while I have a fan on, because you're going to be using E6000 or any other incredibly strong adhesive. And don't huff glue. Don't huff glue. And I like to take a poor fucking straight pin. I usually would clean them right afterwards. Then I like to open it up. I have it in this thing so I can just sit it in there to keep it upright. So I can take my needle, put it in the top of the glue container, and then I take the needle and I sort of shove it in there, sort of spread the glue around without malforming the work I've already done. And then you're going to take, say, here it is. I personally prefer to use binder clips, or I have some very small little, here we go, pins, things, little shits. And then once it's done gluing it, you are going to take your binder clip, sort of like this, and then you're going to leave it somewhere to cure for at least 24 hours. And then once that step is done, you are going to take it and you're going to fill it with hot glue to give it some structure, some structural integrity even. And what I like to do is, because it gets really hot, I pinch it like this. I shove the I put the glue gun in there, and put a little bit of glue. I'm trying to phrase this in a way that's not really sexual. It's really difficult. I'm being so careful with my words right now. And you want to do it in a way that... God, no, I can't get If the top isn't completely sealed, you want to have a little bit of glue coming out of the hole there, because that indicates that you've completely filled that. And what I like to do is, instead of just letting it cool normally, I just shove it in front of the fan so it cools faster. And then I will take it and I'll fill the rest with hot glue. But it's just really important that you get that narrow part first. And then I take it, and while it's still hot, I shove it on here, and that is going to give it a very flat surface. You really just, any flexible flat surface will do. Ideally silicone anything, doesn't really fucking matter. I shouldn't do that. And now I don't have a sample of what that looks like just filled with glue. So we're going to take, is this one dry? That one's still curing. Imagine this, but there's no snap in there. What you want to do is, once you have that flat surface, you want to take your hot glue gun and you're going to sort of make a bit of a hole in it, which I don't have a good example of. You don't want the hole to be too deep. You want it to be shallow, wide enough for a snap. And the best way I've found to attach the snap, mind you, you don't have to do this part technically, but I find it easier to make my spikes removable. And once that is dry and you have a nice little divot going, you want to take some E6000 again, and you're going to put some glue in there until it is level. And then you want to have it somewhere where it can sit upright. What I like to do sometimes is put a little bit of fucking whatever of hot glue. I put the spike on there, I let it dry so that it sits nicely on its own. And then once I have that all level, then you can do the E6000 in there. And once you have said E6000, I like to do this with a pair of tweezers. You take the little, this is the wrong end, but you would basically, you want to grab it like this, and you want to gently put it on the spike, and you want the glue to sort of get misplaced and come up just a little like fraction higher than the edges of the snap. And then you again want to take a straight pin, any sort of thin, structurally stable object, but pins are going to be best for that. And you want to take that excess glue and you want to cover over the bottom of the snap, because that's just sort of gonna like actually keep it in there. And E6000 is the best for this because it's an industrial adhesive, it's good, and that's not just the fumes telling me that. And then that part is done, and you just need to, however you want, attach the opposite end of the snap to whatever you want. And once the E6000 is secured, you're good to go.